So FBC Firebreak is much better now than at launch. The 3-player co-op action game set in the Control universe just got its biggest update yet, called Breakpoint. After months of feedback, it's looking like the developers have listened with a massive rework coming up. So we got new player onboarding, better progression, tons of new content, weapons, and encounters to look forward to. That's why today we're going over some of the biggest tips to get you started in the new update. Also, I'm excited to say today's video has been sponsored by Remedy Entertainment, so totally check the game out using my links below and you will also get a 40% discount on Steam. That being said, you're going to notice massive reworks from the moment you jump back into the game. Right here where the old job board used to be, now you're going to notice a much more interactive and dynamic crisis board instead. So this will feature anywhere between 4 to 6 active crises at any given time, from full length runs to some of the shorter corrupted jobs, refreshing pretty much every half an hour. And as you will see a little bit later in the video, these crises also became a lot less predictable than before, with a lot more randomized objectives, events, and even rewards, but more on that a little bit later. In the meantime, I do want to show you one of the new crisis events added called the Outbreak. Located in the research sector, this is going to provide some new objectives and hazards plus enemies, mostly all around the new mold mechanic. So one of the new objectives I was able to go ahead and complete involved clearing and analyzing some of these mold outbreaks by loading the spores into one of these cards, but I had to do that quickly, otherwise I would get affected by the mold spores. And of course, heaps of mold enemies will start attacking you. These are completely new, by the way, and here's a quick tip. I highly encourage you to focus a bit on the mold turrets. If you quickly hit them, that will not destroy them but will temporarily disable them, so it can be really good to alleviate some of the incoming damage. However, eventually mold will affect you and build up. So in this case, you're going to want to get your character cold no matter what. And there are a few ways to actually do that. One of them is by using some of these portable refrigeration units. Once you fix them, you can pretty much move them all around. So it's very helpful if you have teammates around you and want to bring these effects to them as well. Another one is by turning on some of these vents that you're going to find all across the maps. They are also very useful, but keep in mind they are static. There's technically a third way, which is by basically using cold showers. In this case, just fix the shower part, not anything electricity related. Turn them on, and this is also going to provide the cold effect on your character. And also a quick tip over here, cryo ammo actually is very effective against mold enemies, so make sure that at least one of you actually has that as a mod on the weapons. Speaking of which, we do have new changes to weapons and of course to the way you apply mods to them. So one of the new tiers of progression here adds 3 new sets of weapons for each of the 3 categories in the game. So for example, for precision, you're going to get the semi-auto rifle starting at level 17. You're also going to get the scatter gun at level 15 if you're going with a build focusing on the blast weapons. And finally, there's a rotary cannon, a heavy machine gun with high fire rate but a low reload speed that you can unlock at level 19. And good to note is that all of the tools, guns and grenades now unlock at full power, so you no longer need to upgrade them, meaning that you're going to feel a lot more powerful even as a beginner pretty much right away. However, possibly the best change for build diversity is going to be the separation of weapon mods from the perks menu. In this case, you're now going to have them into separate sections. So the perks menu still remains the same. However, pretty much every weapon in the game, now starting at reputation level 3, will progressively unlock more of the 27 weapon mods added for each of the 3 weapon categories, including 9 universal mods and 6 per each weapon category. So by reputation level 30, you're going to have 3 mod slots for each of the weapons unlocked, meaning that you no longer have to share those with the perks you had before, which also means a lot more possibility for build diversity, but also getting powerful a lot quicker, since now this frees up the 3 slots you can actually dedicate to other types of perks. By the way, quick tip over here, I highly encourage you early on at the very least, but even later game, to mix and match the ammo mods that are most suited depending on the current enemy's weakness. So for example, if you're going in the Outbreak map where you fight moldy enemies, they are very weak to cold damage. That is why against them I recommend some of the cryo rounds you can go ahead and unlock. Which brings us to the next point, and also what will make new players again feel even more powerful compared to before, and that is the fact that Crisis kits now have all of their augments and improvised devices fully unlocked straight from level 1. So right away, the fix, the jump, and the splash kit will have all of these available options. For example, I really enjoy playing with the fix kit, so in this case, I immediately got access to the swivel cannon, which is really useful. You place it down and forget about it, it's going to automatically take down enemies for you. But also the piggy bank, an augment that launches that little piggy bank that just breaks into a ton of damage and also causes a damaging cloud while it's returning back to your range. So this is actually excellent for bursts of damage, including against bosses. But like I said, all 3 of the kits get fully unlocked this way with all of their extra bonuses. And quick tip, if you're a new player, or a reminder if you are just coming back, the fix kit is best at repairing machineries, and it's also great at enemy stagger. The jump kit is great at powering up machinery and also electrifying. And finally, the splash kit excels at providing all of the water benefits basically, including healing you, extinguishing fires, and even priming enemies for extra effects. Now, I kept saying that the new player onboarding is a lot better than before, and I really mean it because there are quite a few ways in which the developers have taken that feedback into account and ensured that new players have a much better start. So in this game, the moment you jump into FBC Firebreak, you're going to get a new tutorial slash onboarding mission, which kinda teaches you the ropes a bit better about some of the core mechanics of the game, especially when it comes to taking down targets, completing objectives, and especially so paying attention to how you can actually heal in this game, because you heal yourself with water. If you played Control before, or even Alan Wake, you're going to kind of have a rough idea how these actually function from the lore. Besides this, the Crisis kits I've mentioned before also got some massive buffs across the board to make them feel more powerful, even to new players. So you're going to just use them a lot more often, and they will also deal a lot more damage and will generally feel a lot stronger than ever before. But like I said in the video, I've also mentioned how these Crisis missions will no longer feel always the same because of the addition of alternative objectives. You will see a lot of these objectives now having the possibility of replacing some of the main objectives from zones, especially 1 and 2. So just to give you an example, in one of these first jobs I had before the update, in this zone I typically had to repair fans to progress the objective. However, after the new update, I got a new random one, in this case in zone 1, to survive the hiss instead. And that is just one of the possibility. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more randomness when it comes to mixing and matching objectives, but also it extends to the rewards, to if it's a full length run or a corrupted run. So you're not going to have always the same run playing exactly in the same sequence. Now, besides that, we also have to talk about some of the new rewards. You're going to notice that the requisition screen also got reworked, and of course also the rewards got reworked plus converted from the old ones to some of the new ones. I'm not going to go in like full detail of everything, but as you complete objectives, as you get these rewards, you're going to want to get here every now and then and basically unlock cool extra cosmetics. Right now, there's going to be a new set that focuses on the new update. So if you go here at the Breakpoint section, you're going to notice quite a lot of these armor pieces, plus of course other cosmetics and even paint jobs you can go ahead and apply to your character. There are other big changes in the patch notes you can go ahead and check out. There's even new slide and crawl animations, especially if you play in multiplayer. So it's totally worth it to check out the new updates and just get back into it. Or if you're a new player, give it a chance. You might have a lot of fun, both if you play solo or with a group of friends or via the game's matchmaking. And that pretty much concludes today's video. Totally let me know in the comments what other cool things you've noticed in the new updates. In the meantime, like I said before, huge shout out once again to the FBC Firebreak team for sponsoring today's video. And also check the game out using my links down below. Get yourself that really awesome 40% discount on Steam right now. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.